What you know about game? I got all the game.
Hey yo, what it do? It's your boy J. Lou, and you are just in time for something new. Alright, now when it comes to this video, this has been very anticipated, you know what I'm saying? I've been having so many people over the years basically hit me up in my inbox and say,
"Hey yo, J. Lou, what is my hair texture? Can you help me out? I'm a coarse hair waver, I'm a straight hair waver, I'm this, I'm that, blah, 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 blah."
I figured I'd make this video because a lot of the information that you guys go off of in the wave game is simply misleading information, you know what I'm saying? So within this video, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about hair texture, but I'm gonna talk about the real truth about hair texture, you know what I'm saying? So in the wave game, people typically confuse hair texture with curl pattern, sometimes referred to as curl type or hair type or whatever the case is. They try to use them interchangeably, and at the end of the day, your actual hair texture determines everything that you need to do when it comes to styling your hair, even when it comes to which products you may want to buy and benefit from, you know what I'm saying? From curl patterns to hair texture or strand size to density, as well as to the most important, porosity. What I figured I'd do is I'll make a general video just to give you guys a overview, you know what I'm saying? This is more like a bird's eye view of everything, but then later on I'll bring you guys more detailed videos in regards to each topic, you know what I'm saying? So if I put all of it in one video, I wasn't trying to make a 50+ minute video, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day,
ain't nobody got time for that.
but with that being said, let's not waste any more time and let's break down everything that you need to know in order to understand your hair better, to help take your waves to the next level. Alright, now with the first category, this one is simply called curl pattern. Like I said, some people refer to it as curl type or hair type, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna get into the details of hair typing and all that stuff like that, but there are 5 fundamental curl patterns that you guys need to understand, you know what I'm saying? In the wave game, people try to say there's only 3, there's straight, medium, and coarse, but that stuff is bogus, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to curl patterns, there's actually 5, and these are the 5 different ones. There's straight hair, there's wavy hair, there's curly hair, there's coily hair, and then there's also kinky hair, you know what I'm saying? Now with that being said, I'm gonna get into a little bit more details of every single one right now. So when it comes to straight hair is just as how it sounds. From the root of your hair all the way to the end, your hair is straight. And in order to curl it, it takes a lot of manipulation. And to be honest,
listen, Morty, I hate to break it to you, but
you cannot get waves if you truly have straight hair, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make a video in the future about the truth about straight hair wavers and all that stuff like that. But with that being said, let's move on to wavy hair. Now, when it comes to wavy hair is straight for the most part, but the closer it gets towards the ends, it tends to bend a little bit more into what they call S-shaped curves, you know what I'm saying? That's the reason why you get the waves, because waves are simply S-shaped curves, you know? So with that being said, people with that kind of hair texture, their hair does not curl up, but it looks wavy, you know? That's the reason why that curl pattern is what it is. Now, when it comes to the third one, which is simply called curly, now, when it comes to curly hair begins to curl a lot more closer to the root of your hair, and the longer it grows, then the more curlier it becomes, you know what I'm saying? But these curls just typically overlap each other and go on like as such, you know what I'm saying? Now the fourth one is called coily. Now I know a lot of people may not know what the heck this is, but a coily curl pattern simply means that your hair coils up. It looks more like a compressed spring, you know what I'm saying? If you was to grow your hair long, it'll look like you have springs at the end of your edges, simply because, like I said, the further away from your roots, the hair curls a little bit more and it'll look like coils, you know? So the last one is the most important one, because this is the one that a lot of people confuse, but it's called kinky. The reason why I call it kinky is simply because when you look at the word kink simply means that whenever you're going in a certain pattern, if you hit a kink, it's like a sharp, rigid turn or whatever the case is. When you look at kinky hair under a microscope, it looks very jagged and basically like Z-type curls and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? People with kinkier hair have the tightest curls on the planet, you know. So that basically means that you can get waves at the smallest level closer to your root because it is the tightest curl pattern, you know what I'm saying? But with that being said, that's just a general overview of curl or different curl patterns. Now within curl pattern, there's a subtopic called curl definition, and based off of your curl pattern, it determines the definition of your curls, you know what I'm saying? Now, I don't want to get into too much details, but when you have like kinkier hair, it's harder to maintain that definition because of the Z-type shape of your hair strand, you know what I'm saying? But when you have curlier hair, you have a lot more definition with that, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm gonna say those details for another video, but let's move on to the next thing. Hair texture. Now, I'm pretty sure the main reason why y'all guys clicked on this video is because you wanted to know about your hair texture, but I'm here to inform you guys that when it comes to hair texture by true definition simply means your strand size or the width of your strands. It does not go off of how your hair looks or how it feels, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you probably could say it goes off of your looks because of the width of your hair strand, but most people typically think that they have coarse hair simply because of how it feels. A lot of people typically say,
oh man, I got coarse hair because my hair feels like carpet, blah, 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 blah.
But if you go off of that knowledge and you classify your hair as that and you treat it as such, you know what I'm saying, you're doing it improperly and you'll end up with a lot more frizz and basically things that you don't want to have to deal with, you know what I'm saying, and you'll be trying to figure out why in the heck can't you style your hair the way that you want to. Now with that being said, there are only 3 fundamental hair textures that determine your strand size. The first one is simply referred to as fine hair. The second one is medium hair, and then the last one is coarse hair, or some people typically say is thick hair, you know what I'm saying? So thick or coarse hair can be interchanged. Now, to determine your hair texture is really based off of 2 different concepts, you know what I'm saying? The first one is basically taking a thread, basically needle and thread or whatever, and you can pair your hair to the size of a needle and thread. Or the second one is how your hair feels in between your fingers. Now, when it comes to fine hair is way thinner and smaller than a piece of thread. And also, whenever you rub your hair in between your fingers to determine if you have fine hair, you won't really be able to feel your hair strand in your finger, you know what I'm saying? And also, when it comes to rubbing your hair in your fingers, between your fingers, with fine hair, it will really be hard to feel that hair strand in between your fingers, you know what I'm saying? Now, whenever you do this test, you want to take only one piece of your hair strand and rub it between your fingers. Now, the next hair texture is medium. Some people say normal or whatever the case is, but with medium hair texture is the same size as that thread, and at the same time, when you rub it between your fingers, it feels like you have thread between your fingers. Now, the last hair texture is simply coarse hair, and in regards to the test, coarse hair is way thicker compared to a thread, and at the same time, if you have coarse hair and you rub it between your fingers, you will definitely be able to tell that you have thick hair between your fingers, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, that basically describes hair textures, you know what I'm saying? Now, when it comes to fine hair, the reason why it's fine is because it only has 2 layers. It only has the cortex as well as the cuticle. Now, when it comes to medium hair, when you look at the structure of it, it will have a cortex and a cuticle, and every now and then they'll have a medulla within the hair strand, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to coarse hair, the reason why coarse hair is the thickest is because coarse hair has all 3 layers. Basically, it has a cortex, a cuticle, and a medulla, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to get too much into those details, but with those 2 tests, that will help you determine what your actual hair texture is. Now, when it comes to waves, contrary to popular belief, most African Americans have either fine to medium hair, you know what I'm saying? Now, when it comes to Latinos, Indians, as well as Asians, they typically have medium on up into coarser hair strands. Now, I don't want to get into too much of those details, but your hair texture plays an important part because if you have fine hair is a lot weaker because it only has those 2 layers. Medium hair is typically normal. That's what most people in the world typically have. And then if you truly have coarse hair, that is the strongest hair, you know what I'm saying? Because you have thicker hair strands. So with that being said, just keep in mind, most African Americans typically have fine to medium hair. Now, I will be making a video about the truth about coarse hair waivers as well. So with that being said, y'all just stay tuned for that video about the truth about coarse hair waivers because this video is going to kick everything off. Now, the next thing that we need to talk about is density. When it comes to density, there are 3 classifications of hair density, and it's simple, you know what I'm saying? It basically determines how much hair do you have on your head at a given time period? You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to those three classifications, the first one is thin hair, the second one is normal hair, and the third one is thick hair. Now, I don't want you guys to confuse hair textures with density, because when you have thick density hair, it just simply means it's harder to be able to see your scalp even at low cut levels. When you have normal density, it simply means that every now and then you may be able to see parts of your scalp at a lower hairstyle or haircut. But when it comes to people that have thin density hair, even when they cut their hair down, you'll see a lot more gaps within their hair. So with that being said, I already made a video in regards to the best information for thin hair waivers that I'll link right above here that you guys can click on and take a look at that. But if you guys want me to make more videos in regards to normal as well as thick density hair, as well as how you can style it, make sure you leave it down in the comment section below. Alright, now the last thing I want to talk about is the most important thing, and it is hair porosity. Now for my normal subscribers, you all already know I covered that video in a very detailed video, which I'll link right above here. I went through almost everything that you need to understand about hair porosity at a basic level. I can make more videos, but in regards to this video, porosity is simply your hair's ability to be able to absorb and retain moisture, and there's only 3 different hair porosities. The first one is low porosity. The second one is normal porosity, and then the last one is high porosity. Now, when it comes to low porosity hair, it simply says that if you have low porosity hair, it's harder for your hair to absorb moisture, but once you have moisture into your hair, it retains moisture the best. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to normal porosity or medium porosity, that simply means that your hair can absorb as well as retain moisture. It's like the perfect balance, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to high porosity, it simply means that your hair can absorb moisture easily, but it's hard to retain it, because just as fast as the water goes into your hair, it's easier for it to leave your hair. Make sure you watch my first video in regards to hair porosity. Now, with that being said, that concludes the 4 different types. I'm gonna get into more details as I go on and show you guys examples and everything like that, as well as give you guys details in regards to styling your hair. But one thing I want to say across the overall entire board is when it comes to your hair texture, basically how your hair is made up, it is very possible to have different combinations based off of these 4 different categories that I told you guys about. Or even if you get into a category such as porosity, you can have different porosities in different parts of your hair. The same way you can have different densities on different parts of your hair. One of the examples of that is if you have a thinning area like your top of your head, the hair at the top of your hair will be considered very thin, but you may have normal density everywhere else. You know what I'm saying? It's the same way with hair texture. You may have fine hairs as well as medium hairs, or you may have medium hairs as well as coarse hairs. And then lastly, even when it comes to curl patterns, whenever it comes to curl patterns, nobody is gonna have a pure curl pattern. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video is because in the natural hair community, hair typing is something that plagues the natural hair game. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to say,
oh, I have 4C hair, I have 3A hair, I have 4B, I have 3C.
You know what I'm saying? All of this stuff, right? But in my research and studying, I'll go into more detail in the actual video in regards to curl patterns. But the reason why I don't encourage hair typing and all that stuff like that is because that is a system that's created based off of numbers. And at the end of the day, when it comes to your genetic makeup, nobody is pure anything. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you can't look at a chart and basically say, oh, I'm 4C because this is how it looks, because once you get into the details of it, your genetic makeup won't make you pure anything, you know what I'm saying, unless you are an alien.
Stranger from the outside.
Now, when it comes to that hair typing chart, I don't like them and I don't encourage them. I don't glorify them. I'm probably gonna create my own chart whenever I do the pattern, you know what I'm saying? The main reason why I don't like it is because whenever it comes to classifying the hair, people with straighter hair is given a 1, and then people with kinkier hair is given a 4, you know what I'm saying? And what a lot of people don't understand, subconsciously, that can affect the person's mindset, because when we look at how the world is set up, typically when it comes to a race, the person that wins always comes in first place, and the person that loses always comes in last place. When it comes to curl patterns, I don't get into the numbers. I just simply refer to the straight, basic, fundamental terms of it. Either straight, wavy, curly, coily, or kinky. You know what I'm saying? The people that accept and say, oh man, I have 4C hair, I'm not saying that everybody will think lower of themselves, but to me, that hair typing chart basically discriminates, because it basically says that straight hair is a 1, but then 4C hair is all the way at the end of the spectrum. And like I said, I'm not gonna get into all the details of that. I'm gonna say that for a future video, but hopefully this video gave you guys a general overview in regards to everything that you need to understand about your hair. I'll get into more details as well as how you need to style your hair if you have coily hair that happens to be medium texture, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, it's your boy J. Lou. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you liked it, make sure you leave a like down below and feel free to share it if you learned something new. With that being said, salute!
Lou is the name, I'm so off the chain. Torino is the brush, do wet wood grain. Brush a wave, I have something. Brush a wave, I have something. Brush a wave, I have something. Brush a wave, I have something.